1982. What a year it was in Wisconsin for baseball fans. The Brewers won the Eastern Division and then rallied against the California Angels to capture the American League pennant. The fact they lost the World Series in 7 games to the St. Louis Cardinals was a bit disappointing, but did nothing to dampen Milwaukee's welcome home celebration for the team. But the Brewers' reign at the top did not last long. In 1983, they won 87 games and lost 75. Only 8 fewer victories than the previous year, but good enough only for 5th place. The downward trend accelerated in 1984. 67 wins, 94 losses, 7th place. In 1985, the one-lost record read 71-90 and a 6th place finish. Last year, the rebuilding got underway with an emphasis on youth, and there was some improvement. 77 victories, 84 losses, although still 6th place. This spring, there were more new young faces in training camp and a new young manager as well. Further indication that the Brewers continue to be a team in transition.
Team in transition. A look at the 1987 Milwaukee Brewers, brought to you by First Wisconsin, by Hardee's, we're out to win you over, by the Rajan Group, working around the world today and prepared for tomorrow, by WEMP Radio, the oldies station, by Snapper Power Equipment, America's #1 choice, and by Old Style, still double brewed the way great beers used to be.
To those who believe in lasting relationships, we bring support and guidance. From the first dollar you save to the dream come true. First Wisconsin, we share the dream. Nature knows no shortcuts. Perfection takes time. So we give nature the time to make old-style beer perfect. With the slow, expensive method of double brewing called krausening for smoothness and drinkability. Nature's way takes much longer. But after all, there are no shortcuts to being the best. Heileman's Old Style, America's best brewed premium beer.
I've been in business quite a while. To be competitive once meant a good product at a good price. Well, today, with all the importing and exporting going on, competition is tougher than ever. How do I keep up? It's simple. I became a member of the World Trade Information Bureau, a division of the Rajan Group. WTIB's information expertise gives me that competitive edge, and I need that.
The World Trade Information Bureau, a division of the Rajan Group.
Wild thing, I think I love you.
And I love her. Cupid, draw back your bow and let your arrow go.
I'm picking up good vibrations.
All original rock and roll oldies, all the time, only on WEMP.
Even people who aren't baseball fans were familiar with most of the names from that championship season of 1982. Gorman Thomas, Ted Simmons, Don Money, Moose Haas, Don Sutton, Mike Caldwell, Pete Ladd, to name only a few. But 5 years later, only 4 players from the title team are still wearing Milwaukee uniforms. They are Cecil Cooper, Robin Yount, Paul Molitor, and Jim Gantner. The pennant manager, Harvey Keene, left at the end of the '83 season, replaced by Rene Latchman. He was replaced by George Bamberger, and this spring, a man who won't turn 40 until next January has the job. A graduate of Portland State University who still enjoys teaching school over the winter, Tom Trebelhorn starts this season as the 8th manager in the Brewers' 18-year history. Now, that's counting George Bamberger, who actually served 2 separate terms only once. After 12 seasons as a minor league manager and a major league coach, the man they call Treb is finally realizing his dream.
Well, I tell you, this is the greatest job there is in the world, and I'm delighted to have it, and I'm delighted to have this ball club, because as we look at opening day here, this club has given me everything I've asked of them, mentally and physically. And some of the things I was concerned about, some of the changes I made that I thought, well, this might not go over, they've accepted, and they've worked very, very hard. So now it's just up to being consistent players, and I think we'll have a lot of fun this year.
Step up, cut, and go to second. Get in the habit of taking charge of that ball.
Triplehorn certainly appeared to be having fun in spring training, and there was considerable evidence that the players were responding to the managerial change.
Just picking the ball up. What do I know? I know right now I'm going to stand right here and I'm going to step up and bang if this guy goes. Get the out.
I think Trev's an excellent leader type. He's a great organizer and motivator, and the camp here has been just fantastic. It hasn't been a dead moment. He has all kinds of drills, and I think it's good, especially when you got a bunch of young kids.
Baseball is a multifaceted game, and production from a wide variety of areas is necessary for a team to be successful. But through the decades, from Cy Young to Sandy Koufax to Dwight Gooden, pitching has been the most important factor. When Brewers pitching is the topic, the obvious player to start with is Teddy Higuera. After winning 15 games in his 1985 rookie season, the Mexican left-hander last year became only the third 20-game winner in the Brewers' history. There was concern when Higuera missed the first couple of weeks of spring training in a contract dispute. Finally, agreement was reached. The Brewers were happy. Higuera had some reservations.
I think both sides gave some in this negotiation, and we reached a point where we're pleased and satisfied he's back with us, and I hope he is also.
El año que entra ya tenga yo mis leyes.
He's not completely pleased with the contract itself, but he understands the law has changed as far as the arbitration is concerned. He's willing to accept what happens. He's a little disappointed that a player of his caliber doesn't get paid as far as production for what he does and what his value for the team exactly is.
Through the interpreter, Higuera said the contract problems would not affect his performance. He said another 20-victory season is a realistic goal, adding he feels he's still improving on the mound.
Y viendo se aprenden muchas cosas.
So definitely he's sure is improving. He's learning every day. He learns something new in this game. Experience is the best teacher of all, and he feels he has a lot of experience behind him now, and he feels stronger than he's ever felt.
After Higuera, the Brewers' starting rotation poses some questions. 24-year-old Bill Wegman was 5-12 with a 5.13 earned run average last year in his rookie season, but he feels tough luck was a major factor in that one-lost record.
It was just one of them years where when I threw the ball well, we didn't do nothing for me, and then when I didn't, there was plenty of runs. I just didn't take advantage of it. So it was just one of them years. But confidence-wise, I've got a lot of confidence coming into the camp. I think I can pitch in the big leagues.
Brought up in mid-August last season, right-hander Mike Birkbeck posted a 1-1 mark. This spring, he made Triplehorn's list of starters by consistently implementing his rather simplistic approach to getting out the opposing batters.
Throw a fastball, curveball, change, and I just try to let them get themselves out as much as me going out there and getting them out. They'll get themselves out quite a bit.
After impressing early last season in his rookie year, left-hander Juan Nieves lost 8 consecutive games in August and September. Similar inconsistency this spring threatened his demotion to spot starter and possible bullpen work, but at 21, Nieves says he's still learning.
I'm still young, and I have a lot of learning to do still, and we all learn every day, even though you're 40. So it's going to be a very interesting year for me. It's going to be a very competitive year, and it's going to be a challenge for myself.
Probably the most pleasant surprise with the 1986 Brewers was the strong performance of the relief pitchers, and the bullpen should be effective again this season. The major surprise last year was the emergence of 6'5", 210-pound Dan Plesac as one of the top late-inning relievers in the American League. Last spring, the left-hander never expected to make the team, so things were much different for him this spring in Arizona.
Yeah, I think it really is. It's funny how things change in the course of 1 year. I came in here last year really with no intentions of making the club, and I remember the first day George Bamber not even knowing my name, calling me Mike, and last year was a great year for me. The season kind of snowballed. I started out throwing the ball well, and everything just kind of continued to keep rolling along for me, and I'm in great physical shape right now. My arm feels really good, and hopefully I can put up some good numbers again this year.
Also somewhat of a surprise last year was Mark Clear, Plesac's right-handed counterpart, as a bullpen closer. In 74 innings, he struck out 85 with an excellent 2.2 ERA in his first season after coming to the Brewers from the Red Sox. He also conquered a tendency to give up bases on balls, which had been a problem in Boston.
I learned how to concentrate a little bit better. I went out there and I just really set my mind on doing something, and I think I can do it. You know, it's just a matter of pitching a lot and really concentrating, and I think I did that better than I had. And I had the opportunity to pitch a lot more last year, so I felt, you know, I was in a groove all year.
When Chris Bossio was brought up to the Brewers last August, he was hit hard in 4 starts. But he had been a reliever at Vancouver, and that's what Treblehorn has in mind for him this season.
I think my role with this team is going to be a setup guy for Mark Clear and Dan Plesac. I think that's where they have their plans, and, you know, that's what I'm getting ready for.
When a shoulder problem comes around, John Henry Johnson will share the setup role with Bossio. He performed well there last year, despite never really knowing when he may see action.
I've got a very logical way of saying it. I don't care. I just go out there every day and just relax. I have fun. I've started, I've relieved, I've short relieved. I did it all. Jack of all trades and master of none.
Rounding out the pitching staff will be 3 rookie right-handers. Mark Ciardi, projected at the moment as the 5th starter, Chuck Krim, and Mark Knudsen.
Experience the most luscious sunrise in the world. Hardee's Canadian Sunrise Biscuit. Real Canadian bacon, cheese, farm-fresh egg, and hickory smoked bacon. For a taste so special, it'll brighten your whole day. And for a limited time, get our hash rounds free when you buy a Canadian Sunrise Biscuit and coffee or orange juice. Because at Hardee's, we're out to win you over.
America has plenty of rear-engine riding mowers, yet one is America's #1 choice, Snapper. #1 because of superior performance. #1 because of low maintenance. #1 because more Americans buy Snapper than any other brand of rear-engine rider. Join the millions of satisfied users who have made Snapper America's #1 choice.
Available at Butler Lawn and Garden, Eagle Lawn and Garden, and the new Etch Lawn and Garden.
Wild thing, think I love you.
And I love her. Cupid, draw back your bow and let your arrow go.
I'm picking up good vibrations.
All original rock and roll oldies, all the time, only on WEMP.
To those who believe in lasting relationships, we bring support and guidance. From the first dollar you save to the dream come true. First Wisconsin, we share the dream.
Here's a trivia question for you. What are the names of the 2 players traded last year to San Francisco for slugger Rob Deere? While you're thinking about it, let's look at the outfield, which of course includes the powerful young man the Giants let get away. After seeing limited action with the Giants in 1985, Rob Deere finally got what he wanted with the Brewers last season, a chance to play regularly. To say he took advantage is an understatement. The 6'3", 210-pounder homered in his first American League at-bat on opening day in Chicago, a prodigious blast off Tom Seaver that cleared the left field roof at Comiskey Park. He went on to total 33 homers and 86 RBIs, a performance that surprised a lot of people, but not himself.
Yeah, I think if you believe in yourself, you know, given the opportunity, you can do the things that, you know, I was given the chance to play last year. And, you know, I believe that everybody's, you know, deserves at least one chance, and I just tried to take the most advantage of my chance I had last year.
Getting back to that trivia question, Rob Deere was obtained from the Giants in exchange for pitchers Dean Freeland and Eric Pilkington. Still only 31 years old, center fielder Robin Yount is starting his 14th Major League season. The 1982 MVP award winner has has had shoulder problems over the past 3 years that forced his shift from shortstop to the outfield and reduced some of his power at the plate. This spring, things are looking up.
I feel great. This is the best I've felt in a number of years in spring training, so I'm real encouraged.
Now, you were, last year you hit for percentage, didn't hit for the power that you sometimes do. What are your goals in that area this year?
Well, basically, Hank, I said before, I don't really set goals when I go out there. The goal I have is to make myself play as hard as I possibly can, every pitch of every inning. And if I've done that, then I feel like I'm accomplishing just about everything I can. So if there is a goal in mind, there again, it's to get to that World Series. That's what it's all about.
If ever a man had a body that appears to have been designed for a career in pro sports, it belongs to right fielder Glenn Braggs. He appeared to have everything going for him when he was called up by the Brewers in July last year after hitting .360 at Vancouver. But in the American League, he hit just .237.
I think I was a little bit cocky. That's not my nature, but I had such a good year in AAA, and, you know, I had my way with the pitchers there and, you know, pretty much any other way that I wanted to do. And, you know, it's hard not to be cocky. But then I admit, you know, that when I did come up last year, I was a little cocky, and I didn't give a guy the credit that I should have. This year is going to be a little different. I'm not going to say this is going to be probably my best year, but I'm going to say there's going to be a big improvement over next year. I think that I will be able to contribute a little bit better to the team this year as far as my hitting and with my defense.
Ever since he was the #1 pick in the 1985 free agent draft, B.J. Surhoff has been projected as the Brewers' #1 catcher of the future. Well, the future just may have arrived, but there's another catcher, an 8th-round pick from the 1979 free agent draft, who may put the projection on hold just a little bit longer. In sharp contrast with last year, Bill Schroeder has had an excellent spring and heads into the regular season as the top catcher. Schroeder underwent elbow surgery in 1985, and the problem flared up again in camp a year ago, forcing him to the disabled list as the season opened. Now he feels he's ready to show the fans the real Bill Schroeder.
I think so, because, you know, the last couple of years, my arm hasn't really felt too good. You know, throwing the ball was a problem, and, you know, I really didn't have the power in my swing that I had before. But this year, you know, I really hit the weights in the wintertime, and I feel strong both throwing and swinging the bat. I'm not the kind of guy that can come off the bench once a week and start pounding the ball, you know. I've got the kind of swing like a deer where, you know, I have to get that consistent playing time to get my stroke down. Got a lot of holes in my swing. I'm going to strike out a lot, but the more I play and the more at-bats I get, I can iron those things out.
Named College Player of the Year with North Carolina in 1985, Surhoff hit .332 with Beloit that summer, and last year posted a .308 average with Vancouver.
Well, I'm pretty confident in my hitting ability. You know, I'd like to, you know, eventually pick up some more power. And, you know, I don't know where it went last year. I used to have a little bit, but, you know, I feel like I'm pretty confident in my hitting ability.
Any discussion of the Brewers' infield has to start with what's called the keystone combination, shortstop and second base. Because of injuries, that area represents a major question mark. Shortstop became a problem area over the winter when Ernest Riles, the regular the past 2 seasons, cut his hand in a household accident, and he's still several weeks away from being ready to play. Before last weekend, 23-year-old Edgar Diaz, a native of Puerto Rico, appeared to have won the starting job because of his defensive skills.
I'm always got a good glove. I'll be working hard on it, and that's going to be my first thing if I make the club, my defense.
But all that is going to have to wait, because 1 week ago today, Diaz dislocated his left shoulder in a freak play during a game against the California Angels. He'll be sidelined at least 6 weeks. That means Dale Swain, who was called up last season to fill in for Paul Molitor at third base, will start this season filling in at short.
You got a lot more things to worry about. You got a lot more ground to cover, handling a pitcher, catcher, second baseman, third baseman. And basically, you got a lot more things to worry about. Cutoffs and relays, a lot of things go through your mind, and longer throw, a lot different things like that.
Second base did not appear to be a problem when spring training got underway, but then the incumbent, Jimmy Gantner, reported soreness in his knee and flew back to Milwaukee for arthroscopic surgery. He insists he'll be ready for opening day. If he's not, the job on an interim basis will go to Juan Castillo. Over at third base, Paul Molitor says his only goal this season is to stay healthy. An understandable objective, given his history since he hit .302 with a league-leading 136 runs scored for the 1982 championship team. In 1983, he was hampered most of the year with a wrist injury. In 1984, he played only 13 games before elbow surgery sidelined him the remainder of that season. In 1985, he was out of action more than 2 weeks because of a sprained ankle. In 1986, he went on the disabled list 3 different times because of a pulled hamstring muscle.
In your back of your mind, you have to wonder what's going to happen next, I guess. But, you know, all you can do is prepare yourself the best you possibly can for each upcoming season and hope things go your way. You know, last year, like you mentioned, it was frustrating to have 3 setbacks with the same injury. But I was able to have a fairly decent second half and stayed healthy, and hopefully we can have more of the same in 1987.
There were a lot of players toting first baseman's mitts when camp opened, but it was apparent that Greg Brock had the inside track on the starting job. Obtained from the Dodgers in an off-season trade for pitcher Tim Leary, Brock is expected to add some power to the lineup. At the time, he said he was happy to be leaving Los Angeles, where great things had been expected of him as Steve Garvey's successor. Is he still pleased about the trade?
Yeah, I think even more so. I've heard the rumors about all the trades and everywhere except for Milwaukee. And when Milwaukee was traded there, I was excited about it, but didn't know much about the team or the organization. And as I got to know it, I became even more excited about it.
The Brewers haven't had a regular designated hitter since 1976 when Hank Aaron retired. But when Tom Trebelhorn talks about the DH this year, he has just one man in mind.
Well, I kind of realized that when they made the deal back in the winter, and they called me and talked to me about it, and I think it's something that I can handle. And, you still like to play, go out and play some, but I think I can handle it. It's going to be more of a mental adjustment rather than the physical part of it.
But Cooper has a strained muscle in his rib cage and starts the season on the disabled list along with Riles and Diaz. Completing the roster are veteran outfielder Rick Manning, rookie Jim Pachorik, who can play outfield or third base, speedy outfielder Mike Felder, and first baseman Billy Joe Robideau, who could provide some power off the bench.
You know, I've always dreamed of owning my own business. Well, a few years ago, I did it. Tough at first? Sure. But now that we're growing, I thought about expanding sales overseas. Where to start? Well, I called International Marketing and Research Services, a division of the Rajan Group. They found markets for my product right away. Thanks to IMRS, I now own a worldwide business, and I'm proud of that.
International Marketing and Research Services, a division of the Rajan Group.
10,000 years ago, a vast glacier covered North America from the Arctic to what is now Wisconsin. The massive sheet of ice scoured the land beneath it and left a sparkling new land behind. The pure, fresh water left in the wake of this ancient glacier today provides the finest brewing water left on Earth. The water that's used to make Heileman's Old Style beer. Heileman's Old Style, brewed with the purest water on Earth to become America's best brewed premium beer.
America has plenty of rear-engine riding mowers, yet one is America's #1 choice, Snapper. #1 because of superior performance. #1 because of low maintenance. #1 because more Americans buy Snapper than any other brand of rear-engine rider. Join the millions of satisfied users who have made Snapper America's #1 choice.
Available at D&D Small Engine, Economy Tractor, and Kiefer's Yamaha.
Experience the most luscious sunrise in the world. Hardee's Canadian Sunrise Biscuit. Real Canadian bacon, cheese, farm fresh egg, and hickory smoked bacon. For a taste so special, it'll brighten your whole day. And for a limited time, get our hash rounds free when you buy a Canadian Sunrise Biscuit and coffee or orange juice. Because at Hardee's, we're out to win you over.
Anytime the ball's at the wall or the track, we'll double that thing. It's just common sense. So Kiki, you go out, Juan trails, Neil goes out, Billy Bates trails, whoever's there. Ball in right center, second base goes out, shortstop trails.
Yes, sir. I think the tone you set, the communication you have, the confrontations you have with the ball players as far as positive and negative things. If you don't like what's going on, you better let them know. And if you like it, you better let them know. And they better know their roles, When am I going to be used? How am I going to be used? What do you think about me? How do you feel about me? I think those are important things in any management position, whether it be in the television networks or the Milwaukee Brewers front office or on the ball field.
From personal observation and from talking with the players, the new manager certainly appears to have established communication with his team. But the manager can't pitch or hit or field, so how much difference can he make in the one-lost column?
I think 5 to 10 games over the course of the season are probably going to be decisions we make as a staff. I mean, I hope that I don't have to make singular decisions, but we have a lot, we have 100 years of baseball experience there. And decisions we make probably between 5 and 10 games, we have a chance to win. And conversely, when it doesn't work, I suppose you have a chance to lose 5 or 10, depending on how things are going.
Trebelhorn feels reversing the Brewers' record of last year to 84 and 77 this year is a realistic goal. Given the fact that most preseason baseball prognosticators are picking the Brewers to finish in last place, an explanation of the rationale behind such optimism appears in order.
Well, a year of experience with Wegman and Nieves, and Glenn Braggs offensively, and then also I think the addition of Greg Brock's going to be important. I think Paulie's going to play 140 to 150 games for us, which he didn't do last year. I think Robin's stronger. I think Rob Deere's going to be a better hitter. I don't know if he's going to hit 33 home runs, but I think he's going to be a better offensive player. I think behind the plate we're going to score more runs with that position, plus have a good defense there. And I think Teddy's going to have a good year. I think our bullpen's probably one of the better bullpens in the American League as far as when you go with your 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. I really like our bullpen. So, if we're going to score more runs and we're going to defend better and our pitching's more experienced, makes me very optimistic we're going to get more wins.
Skeptics may suggest that Trebelhorn is painting a best-case scenario for all his key players in that list of predictions, but that's usually what happens when a baseball team has a good year. For evidence, go back again to the '82 Brewers. And the school-teaching manager also feels a proper mental approach to the game can help overcome other deficiencies.
Guys have to think baseball, and they have to react to baseball, and they have to believe in themselves and believe they can win. So I think the mental thing, Hank, is once you get here, you can't put a percentage on it, but it's more important than their physical tools.
Optimism and spring are synonymous, especially when it comes to Major League Baseball. So despite the injury problems, the Brewers are upbeat as they talk about the long season ahead. But Paul Molitor, a veteran of both success and disappointment, provided me with what is probably the most realistic assessment of the team.
I can really see our club going either direction, Hank. I think that we have a lot of talent that we can put out there on the field, but you just hope the young players can be consistent. I think that's what you have to be concerned about. And if we have another concern, I think it's going to be the depth of our club. I feel that we can put a solid club out there, a starting 9, but we're going to have some guys come through as far as being able to come off the bench.
In training camp, the new young manager certainly appeared to have the respect and the support of his players. One hesitates to introduce a potentially dark cloud into what has been an otherwise sunny spring, but I can't help recalling 1984 when the Brewers finished 7th, dead last, 36 games out of first place under Rene Latchman, another new young manager who lasted only that season. So while the acquisition of Trebelhorn is viewed as a positive move, the proof will be in the performance.
Team in Transition. A look at the 1987 Milwaukee Brewers has been brought to you by Snapper Power Equipment, America's #1 choice. By WEMP Radio, the oldies station. By Old Style, still double brewed the way great beers used to be. By the Rajan Group, working around the world today and prepared for tomorrow. By Hardee's, we're out to win you over. And by First Wisconsin.